Hi, my name's Tom, and I'm recovering addict, alcoholic, and a child of God.
What's up, Tommy?
I got some stuff written down because I kind of get nervous speaking in front of a lot of people. But I was born in Norwood in Delaware County. My family was a bunch of alcoholics. When I was born, a tube in my stomach was closed, so they had to operate. And my mom, being a drunk, alcoholic, I was a premature child. So when they operated, the doctor cut an artery and they had to do an emergency operation. They didn't think I was going to make it, but through God's will, it seemed fit to keep me around. I guess I'll start off when I was like 12 years old. I stole my first six-pack off my uncle, and it was a six-pack Pounders, a Budweiser. And we ran up onto the tracks, and like as soon as I started drinking it, like I just fell in love with it. Everybody was still like nursing their beer, but I don't know. I had the taste for alcohol, and I just kept chugging and chugging, and my whole body got all numb and tingling. My lips were like numb, and I was like, man, this is what I was looking for. I stood up and I fell down the tracks, cut my arms all off. They said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the house, get me another six-pack," because, it just did the trick for me. I started smoking pot when I was like 13, and I graduated to like cocaine when I was 18. It was a short little period because I didn't like coke too much. I didn't like the feeling, the oiliness and all that. But I don't know. I say I'm getting nervous.
Good, man.
But I was at the age of 16. Actually at the age of 13, I got kicked out of school because I was misbehaving a lot. I was coming in school drunk and stuff and fighting and just doing a lot of chaos. So they sent me to this, it was called Marple Newtown Community School. And they didn't teach you much on academics. It was more about like teaching you attitudes and behaviors. And about like 2.5 years into it, I figured out the trick. All I gotta do is behave myself, and they'll send me back to a regular school. Well, when they did that, I was sent up to 9th grade. But when I got in 9th grade, I found out I was doing like 6th grade work. I had a learning disability, so I ended up quitting school. And my mom was like, "Well, if you quit school, you gotta get a job." So I went up to right up on the corner. It's called Men's Roofing. And I started roofing while picking up trash and stuff for about a month. And I got tired of that, so I climbed up on the roof. And I was like pushing this guy Pete to like teach me how to lay shingle and cedar and all. So he's like, "All right, well, you got the willingness to knack for it." So he taught me. And like, if anybody knows anything about roofers, like their whole philosophy is like, how drunk can you get through that day? And the drugs, the Percocets, the dose, the whole 9 yards that come with it. And when I was 12, I had another operation. I had like 10 of them since I was born, but the doctor would give me the shot. And all I knew at the age of 12 was that I got this warm feeling all over me, and I just wanted to crave ice cream. Here it was Gelati, and that stuff. Like I was 12 years old, manipulating specialists that kept coming to check my stomach, trying to figure out why am I still in pain. I wasn't in pain. It was just that shot just took me out of myself, man. And like everything was all right. My life wasn't that bad. Family problems weren't that bad. I had a stepdad that, I don't know why my mom married him, but he used to come in drunk and they used to fight, fist fight and stuff. And he used to beat the daylights out of me. I was like the color of DJ's shirt on my birthday. And I was like 14 years old, and I couldn't go outside the house without wearing like full sweat clothes because I was black and blue like all over the place. And I don't know. My mom said to me one time that it's either me or my stepdad, and she wasn't going to raise another son because she had my little brother after my sister. I'm the oldest of three though, but she ended up kicking me out of the house, right? And I got the job. I was living down in my basement. And it wasn't like you go through the house to the basement. It's like you had to go around the back and through the cellar door. And like the only one that was in my corner was my grandpa. He tried to teach me all kinds of things, and I was just hard headed. Like, he said, "Come on, kid, you're not a drunk." At that time, they thought I was just a drunk, but it was like every day I was drinking like crazy. I'd either, steal the money, borrow the money. I would do almost anything to get that beer. But going on, I think I was about 18 when I came down to Chester, and I met this guy Joe, and I spent my last 20 hours on a case of beer. And he said that he was going to pay me at the end of the day when his boss got home. Here, this is going back with paper, and here he was just putting the quarter in and acting like he was dialing. But, I kept hearing the quarter drop out. And, being drunk, I didn't catch on to it at first. Then I realized this guy just used me to get drunk for the day. So I'm chasing him down the street, and he runs into a place called City Team Ministry. And I ran in there after him. I'm cursing up a storm and this, and that. And I forget the first lady's name, Janetta, I think her name was. She was the phone operator. And I'm running in there, and here comes this guy in this cool Arkansas voice, which ended up being Richard Williams. He talked me outside the city team, and I'm standing there and I'm thinking like, what am I doing out here? I'm trying to get my money off Joe. So I pick up a brick and I throw it at him. And he dumped it and busted the front glass of city team. And he said ever since then, whenever I needed help, he would be there for me. It's a strange way of God speaking through him, but it was the truth. Every time, they called me 10 times Tom, because I was in the city team like 10 different times, bro. It's like you're only supposed to be in there like 2 or 3, but every time I went in there, I learned something. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I wasted my time there, but I just wasn't ready yet to get clean and sober. But I learned this, and this is like something I read every day. Psalms 51, if you don't mind. Have mercy on me, O God, because of your unfailing love, because of your great compassion. Blot out the stains of my sins. Wash me clean from my guilt. Purify me from my sin. And I read that every day because, like, when I was in my addiction, I was the most ruthless son of a SOB that you want to meet. Like, I even got so mad to where I, like, beat my mom up. You know what I mean? Like, because she grabbed my beer and locked it in her bedroom, and I kicked it open all drunk, and she's like standing, like trying to block me from getting my beer, and I just picked her up, I threw her over the bed, and I went and got my beer, and it's nothing that I'm proud of, but it's just something that alcohol, told me it was alright. Like I said, like when I drank, bro, I didn't even like myself, bro. That's why I stayed drunk all the time. Like when I came down to Chester, like people showed me how to like live on the streets, where to eat, where to shower and stuff like that. So when I went to work, all that money was free because I didn't have to pay no rent. I'd go to city team for dinner. I'd take a shower at the Salvation Army. Like it was a sick cycle I was running. So I met Marlon at city team. Henderson, I remember all of these, I just, I remember the time you used to tell me, just be where you're supposed to do and do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, and you'd be all right. I never got that concept. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I always thought I had one more run in me. But my runs always, it was either rehab, jails, or penitentiaries. You know what I mean? Or crisis centers. And like this last run that I had, like I just got out about a year ago. I had a 4 to 8 because I wanted robbery, death by cop. I had a cash, and I said, what I'll do is I'll walk into Wawa, I'll rob Wawa with my cash, wait for the cops to come, and I act like my cash was a gun. But I don't know, something happened. I end up leaving Wawa, and I walked down like 8 blocks down in this parking lot, and the cop said I was in there doing snow angels and stuff. And when I woke up, came to, I was like, all right, give me my citation, and I'll go home. He's like, citation? He's like, dude, you just robbed Wawa, and I didn't believe what he said until he showed me pictures of Wawa, snapping pictures of me robbing the place. And they ended up giving me a 4 to 8. And that's when I knew, like that time getting locked up, I just had enough. I just knew it. You know what I mean? Like this peaceful feeling came over me. Even though I wasn't drinking or drugging in the state penitentiary, anybody ever been up there, they know how easy it is to get hooch and sabacc. I mean, it's bloody. But I just chose not to. But my attitudes and behaviors didn't change because I was still like fighting a lot. And, going to the hole. My sister was always sending me money because I was breaking windows or I'm doing this and doing that. Well, they sent me to this mental health block, and this lady, Miss Kent, she sat down and she talked to me, and next thing I know, we're talking, and here I come to find out she's a believer of Jesus. So I felt comfortable. Now I can talk to her or talk to somebody about God. You know what I mean? I was just letting her know that, everything I went through in life, and God was always there for me. He always pulled me out of the muck of my mire of being in trouble or doing this or doing that. And I don't know. Like I said, the last time I went to the hole, I just broke down and I cried. I was in a place called Green County, and if anybody was there, they know it's like a gang-related prison, and like I had to use a certain phone, a certain shower and stuff, and I just broke down and cried and went to my cell, and I just said, God, I can't do this no more. You know what I mean? I'm looking around and I'm looking out my window, seeing everybody like, doing their thing. This is no life for me, man. I said, I had enough. So I was still talking to Richard. He's been in my corner for at least 38 years. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But I was calling him, my sister-in-law. They did the best they could to help me out, financially while I was in there. But it was just the more of like trying to find out who am I and what's my destiny in life. You know what I mean? Because I know it was more than jails, institutions, and crisis centers. And Richard used to tell me all the time, the truth shall set you free. And I never I kind of got it, but it didn't hit me until I was in jail. And that's when I just started journaling. And if anybody journals, they know what I'm talking about. It frees you up from so much pain and hurt inside. And he told me something. He said it's a fine line between anger and hurt. And I sat back and I thought about that, and getting a little choked up. But I had to find out in life, man, that I was more hurt than it was anger. It just stemmed out as anger, but it was more pain inside. And like I said, I didn't have no place to go when I got out because my sister couldn't take me in. because my little nephew got a weed card and stuff like that, and I didn't want to play the tiptoeing around. So they sent me to this place called Cadenza House, and I was up on Henry Avenue, and Richard said, I'm going to get you out of there, because he heard it and seen when he came up to visit me how chaotic the place was. And he said, how do you feel about going to Greenhouse? I was at Greenhouse. He's like, yeah, John Clifford's got a recovery house. And I said, I don't think John's going to take me, because being that city team, me and John didn't always see eye to eye on a lot of things. But I said, if he's willing to give me a chance, I'm willing to take it. So, it took a couple months for everything to come together, and that's why I met Jason. And next thing I know, they said, you're going to go to the discipleship house. So I was like, and I was a little nervous because I was on some boxing in jail, and I didn't know if John was going to give. And Richard's like, don't worry about it, we'll handle that situation when we get there. But thank God, that I got in touch with CIM and stuff like that to get the suffocate shot. But that's pretty much, like I said, I came here and like my whole life just felt like it restarted again. Like I got a new outlook on life. Like I really believe in what I am today. I don't have too much more anger or hate towards myself. I still have a problem with forgiving my mom and stepdad since they passed away. There's still like a lot of pain. I talked to Ryan a lot about it, but it's another thing that I read every morning, and I hope somebody gets something out of it. It's called Song of Songs, chapter 3, verse 15. It says, catch the little foxes before they burn up the vineyard. And it's talking about catching the little sins before they get out of control, because I believe I'm the vineyard now, so I'm trying to grow. And it's like the little sins that I commit, just blow up, and next thing you know, I'm back in jail, back in trouble, and back drinking and stuff. So I just read that every morning, and I just ask God, like, doing my meditation every morning, and my, my daily Bible, 1 year Bible study and stuff. At first, like, I thought, man, this stuff's a little rough, and that freedom from addiction, that book helped a little bit, but the heart of I forget the heart of addiction, yeah. That book like really opened up my eyes to like a lot of things, like, and I do gotta stop calling myself a alcoholic and addict, because I'm not no more. I gotta remember I'm a child of God.
Yep.
And God don't make no jump. It just took me a long time to get where I'm at mentally, and spiritually. But I believe in God's word, and I do believe, that God's got a plan for me. Now, even if it's just to help one person or help, or if it's just, to try to be a better me throughout the day. You know what I mean? I take a moral inventory of myself every night, and I see where I go wrong and where I didn't go wrong, or sometimes I don't see where I went wrong and I have to be corrected, but it's okay that I get corrected. Because at first, when being corrected, I used to think like, yeah, what are you telling me? But I just know being corrected, it's just a better way for me to live, like to see my own faults and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I owe a lot to John Clifford, you know what I mean? Like, I really do. I never thought that I would say that, John would be the one that, like helped turn my life around. Because, like I said, we used to bang heads on some things when I used to work for him in the kitchen. But I see what he's talking about today. You know what I mean? And I see the vision of the greenhouse, and I see the way it's going. Like this place, man, is going to blow up. I can see in the next couple of years that this place is really going to be something. And I just hope I can stick around long enough to watch it flourish. you know. And I owe a lot to all yous. You know, I just saying hello to me some days and it's like giving me a pound, like makes me feel worthy. Like, you know, you're not just doing it to do it, you're like truly caring. You know, I'm starting to learn to love myself. You know, I'm not all the way there yet. You know, it's something that you know, I have to talk to God about and remove them stones from my heart. Because this is a better way of life than you know, living on the streets and drinking. And you know, my family wondering, oh, is he dead yet? My sister calling jails, penitentiaries, crisis centers. You know, is he still alive? And see, I wouldn't go around my family when I drank. And I have a 28-year-old son that I was never like really there for. Like I bounced in and out of his life, you know, for the stuff that he wanted when he was a baby. He always got, but he always wanted me. He said to me one time, he said, "Dad, you ever see that SPCA commercial where the dog's in the cage and he's looking around for his owner?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Dad, that's the way I feel when you say you're going to come get me and you don't." Man, that just like crushed my heart. You know what I mean? But I never forgot it. Did I change right away? No. You know, I'd be a liar to tell you if I did, but I didn't. You know, but all these things are, and I'm trying now to build my relationship with my son. You know, even though, you know, he's a grown man now. It's not too late. If it's not too late for me, it's not too late to build a relationship with my son. You know, my family, my immediate family, they're really proud of me. My Joe, first time in, God, umpteen years that I actually had a PO say they're proud of what I'm doing, you know. And I don't know, I just, like I said, I just want to thank God for giving me this opportunity because I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for Greenhouse. You know, I probably would have ended up back in jail. Probably not by drinking or not, but just my attitudes and my behaviors. And like, that's what I'm working on now. Like, I don't see me going back to drinking, you know, or drugging. It's what I gotta learn inside is to start disciplining myself, too, and listening to other people. Because they're not there to hurt us, they're there to help us. And I truly believe that. So I want to thank everybody that's part of the Greenhouse. What's up, Beck? I want to thank everybody from Greenhouse that, you know, sits there and talks to me or mentors me, and especially Ryan. You know, you do a lot for me, Ryan. You really do. Not every Monday do I feel like coming here and doing that. But once we get started, like it just feels so right, you know. And with that, that's all I had.
Visit our website, ghproject.org, and you can donate at ghproject.org/donate. Like and follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and you can email us at info@ghproject.org. Thanks for watching.